Hello, everybody. This is Fart Pants, and today I'm going to be looking at another deck for my dude Major Malfunction. Last week we did his Nod deck on Unranked, and since then Major has very successfully managed to get his Nod into Tiberium League for the first time. So congratulations to Major there. And today he's asked me to take a look at his GDI deck instead. So this is a pretty decent deck. We've got rifles, missiles, pitbull, drone swarm, talon, and orca with Solomon as the commander. He was using Titan instead of Orca last month, so I was expecting to be using Titan, but he's asked me to use the Orca instead. This is really similar to a deck I use on my main GDI ladder deck actually. Normally I would use a Suzaku APC, which is the APC instead of Talon, and obviously Strong Arm instead of Solomon. But Major wants to use Solomon because he knows it's useful for charging the deck aggressively, charging the pads aggressively rather, and then using Solomon to take care of any beefy tech units that come out, which is a pretty solid strategy. I think he's got the basics of this down already, but I'm just going to talk him through it now to try and find the best techniques for using the deck. Okay, so first we're up against Mad Dog from Prestige Worldwide. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I'm going to kick him repeatedly in the balls. Okay, so we're going to open rifles, and sorry, that was a reference to Step Brothers, the film, by the way, if anyone thinks I was just being totally random there. Good film, you should check it out. Anyway, yeah, so this guy's opened lasers, which is pretty useless. I'm almost tempted to just leave them alone, but get some pot shots in. Those two lasers aren't going to do much damage to my harvester, which is where they're going. I'll get my two rifles set up and then send a third rifle down there. In come the flames. Usually when anyone opens lasers, usually they've got flames in their deck as well, so you can be pretty sure that there's going to be flames, so you want to build a second rifle. I didn't get an ideal 2v1 on his flame squad there. They're pretty damaged, but I've gone for a fourth rifle to finish that off. He's now made a second flame, so when they make the second flame, that's when you want to switch into your air, into the drone swarm. And now he's made a third flame. So the thing about this is, he's now spent 120 on flamers, whereas we've built 4 rifles for 40 and a drone swarm for 20, which obviously there's 50 for to open the helipad as well. So he spent much more money on us, building far fewer units, which he's gone and lost immediately. Again, in this situation, you'll find he's got flamers and lasers, and then we've got rifles and drone swarm. Usually in this situation, you want to target, with your units, you want to target the unit which will do the most damage to you. So, for example, if you've got flamers that attack your rifles, you want the rifles not to target the missiles or the lasers. You want them to target the flamers, because the flamers will do more damage to your rifles. And likewise, if you've got flamers and lasers on a pad, and then you've got a drone swarm, you want the drone swarm to target the lasers, because the flamers can't do any damage to your drone swarm, so you want to attack the unit which will do damage to you. Okay, I built an Orca in order to try and deal with these tech units. I just realised at the same time that I had enough money for an iron cannon there. This is a really good example of why you don't want to iron cannon too soon. It's really important to iron cannon when A, you're going to get the most value out of it, and B, just before the missile fires, so that you will clear them off the pads before they get a chance to get anything back onto the pad. So you see he set up an artillery. That's a perfect situation for an iron cannon. Artillery is a really powerful unit, but if you've got iron cannon, you can just wipe it off the field. So yeah, that's a lesson that you shouldn't be too hasty with your iron cannons. You want to save them for the clutch moments when you really need them, usually before the missile's about to fire. Okay, so we've got Primus next. We're going to always be opening the same way there. It's pretty standard opening, always with the rifles. Then we can get them set up early and get them on the pads. This guy looks like he wants to stall, so we're going to get off the pads. As long as the missile's charging, we're fine. I've said this before. I said this in the last one. It doesn't matter if he's charging the missile, just as long as the missile's charging. So we want to get ourselves set up into a good position. He's now moved on to the second pad, so we can move into his one rifle on the top pad, and the pad's still charging. You've got to get the second rifle squad. We've got to retarget the ones he's got coming in. Now we've got a third rifle, and it's forced him to tech switch because he didn't get his 2 rifles set up together. He split them up, so we were able to attack him, and he lost the rifle war. So he's had to tech switch first into the Talons. We can now respond with the pit bulls, and now he can't fight the pit bulls because he's already tech switched and he's not got enough money to switch again. So I assume he's going to send in missiles. Here they come. So we've got we kept the other rifles alive so we can fight the missiles. We're on every pad. We need to make sure we kill off these Talons, which we've been able to do with the pit bulls and then the missiles fired. So having lost his Talons, he's now had to send in something to deal with the Orcas, which doesn't die to rifles. Sorry, to deal with the pit bulls, which doesn't die to rifles. So he's responded with Orcas. We've managed to get him to misfire a little bit. The pit bull's taken a bit of damage, but it's not dead. That's fine. If pit bulls are nearly dead, the great thing about them is that they will still do as much damage as if they had full health. This is one of the reasons why they're better than bike squads. Is even like a minimum health pit bull will still deal out as much damage as if it had full health. Unlike a bike squad, which if it's down to one bike, it dramatically reduces their DPS. Anyways, he's resorted to spamming Talons now. We've still got our pit bull alive. We could probably make another pit bull here. So let's send in a second pit bull. We've got the missiles on the bottom, which will take care of this Talon anyway. Missiles on defense against a healthy Talon will beat it. So yeah, I've just decided to fire off an iron cannon there as well, just to show off how much money we had left. Just how much we gave him a beating. Okay, next, Night Shadow. Scary names. I love the macho names you get in Rivals. You got Fart Pants versus Night Shadow. I wonder who's going to win. Incidentally, I want to apologise for the poor video quality here. I'm still getting to grips with my video capture device, and the one I'm using at the moment doesn't. I can't manage to get sound either. But I'm sure you don't really care about that. Anyway, so we've seen he's opened a second harvester. It doesn't really change our strategy. If we were using the Titan deck, like Major was using last month, this is a situation where we might want to also consider going second harvester, because he's obviously got tech if he's going second harvester, so we want to make sure we're able to fight his tech when he just spams tech units near the end of the game. Obviously, we're not playing Titan, so we just got an incredibly aggro deck. So as long as we keep the pads charging, that's the main thing. He doesn't have pop cap. He's got one less pop cap than us because he's built a second harvester. So we should easily win this first missile. Don't know where he's sending the flamers. Well, I do know exactly where he's sending the flamers, but it's a completely pointless waste of time. Didn't really need to build the second drone swarm. If we hadn't built it, then we would have been able to respond quicker to his laser drones, but it's not really a big deal. We're still charging, we're on the pads, we've got a talent to deal with the drone swarms, the laser drones. I've been a bit naughty here. I've pop-capped his lasers, and I'm about to pop-cap his laser drones as well. This is quite a dirty play. It can be effective. It's not a nice way to play, so yeah, sorry to Night Shadow for that. This is also a pretty rubbish iron cannon. This is a good example of not using an iron cannon to best effect. He probably would have had time to get something else out there. He's got enough money, but he just surrenders. So yeah, once he saw the Orca, he knew we were going to be able to finish off his flame tank. But yeah, not an amazing iron cannon. It did enough damage that we could easily have finished him off with the Orca, but whatever. Okay, so Mikey of the G-String Circus. Sexy times. Solomon versus Kane. Kane often means tech. We're on orbit here. This deck is pretty well suited to orbit because we've got lots of quick, cheap units which can reach all the pads quite quickly. So it's not too bad for us. Okay, so he opens laser drones. Don't think this is a great move from him. We've got to get some lasers set up so we can deal with those. Laser drones used to do good harvester damage, but they don't really anymore, so I'm not super worried about these. We kill a couple of them and he's shooting at the base, so yeah. I don't think this guy knows what he's doing very well. He's got a cat ship now. I feel like, yeah, maybe I should not let those rifles die, but he hasn't shown us anything which rifles can fight, so I kind of don't mind if they die. It gives us pop cap back so we can build more anti-air units. One pitbull will do fine against laser drones. They pretty much wreck laser drones. It'll do fine against the cat ship as well. So he now moves his cat ship across to the bottom right pad, but he doesn't actually fire at the missiles, so the missiles are able to take care of that pretty easily. And now he's sending in more laser drones. Safe in the knowledge that they will do absolutely nothing. I'll get a Talon because Talon's something which he doesn't seem to have anything to fight against yet. Normally I would expect a guy who's playing laser drones and cat ships to have a Phantom as well, but it doesn't look like this guy's playing quad tech, so I mean, we can just probably AFK at this point. You can see down in the corner that he's getting more Tiberium, but he's not going to get anything out and get into the pads on time. And meanwhile, we've got enough money for an ion cannon, so I'll just wait for his tech and just ion cannon it when it comes out. Yeah, just don't even need to play the game anymore. In fact, yeah. He sends a Basilisk down, it barely gets onto the pad by the missile fires, and I just ion cannon nothing, and we still win. So, yeah, this is why you don't play 4-tech. Certainly not with laser drones, anyway. Okay, so now we get a Solomon mirror. This guy's got a funky Solomon skin as well, so presumably that means he's more experienced and better than us. Maybe? No? Okay, so more rifles on the pads. He sent that's obviously his first harvester, but he's sending it to the non-default harvester position, which is an easier position to attack. So I'm going to assume from that he will build a second harvester and that he's going to go tech. So I want to make sure that I get off the pads when he gets on the pads. He's happy to get aggressive on my rifles with his rhino, the old rhinoceros. I'm not going to build a missile because rifles and missiles won't beat a rhino, even with the two of them together. So I'm just going to go straight into Pitbull for this one. If it was a buggy, I would build a missile squad to try and beat the buggy with the rifles, because a 2v1 with rifles and missiles will beat a buggy, but it won't beat a rhino. So yeah, I'm just going to get Pitbulls here. He has gone snipers. So we'll get some drone swarms for those. I really don't know why this guy went sniper, because his rhinos will beat any anti-infantry that he's seen from us so far. So I mean, yeah, maybe he's worried about the pit bulls, but obviously the snipers do nothing against the pit bulls. Okay, so he's responded with an orca, and he's managed to kill one of my pit bulls. So meanwhile, we've got the Talon on that. We'll block the orca with the Talon and get some missiles as well. And now he's gone for a hammerhead. I think this is a bit of a misplay from him. He's getting a hammerhead out to deal with my air. But my air I haven't got any really heavy duty air. I've got Talons and drone swarms. And the hammerhead is really expensive. It costs 90. So that's going to massively delay his tech at this point. And also, his hammerhead is incredibly vulnerable to my pitbulls, and he hasn't really shown me anything which will beat pitbulls. Obviously, the orca will one-shot pitbulls, but on economy, I can easily beat him. So he's got a couple of rhinos coming in desperation, but I can just iron cannon those. We would have won even without the iron cannon. But yeah, he wanted to get his tech out, really. I think that his mammoth was his win condition, but he was spending too much money on orcas and hammerheads in order to get to the tech in time. Anyway, now we've got Antidew. Yeah, this guy's probably the best player that I played in this run. He's a regular Tib resident. I often see Blade complaining, or not complaining, sorry, rather, saying he gets complaints from people saying he gets really easy runs. I know this is only unranked, but this was quite an easy run, and I think this was the one competent guy that I came up against, really, as evidenced by the fact he's opened dogs. So he's gone into dogs, double dogs. So this, it's not really a problem, but it's just a sign that he knows what he's doing. I've let my rifles take a bit of damage here. He's got another dog, so I think, yeah, I've gone for a second missile here, and I think I'm in a decent position because my two missiles will deal with his two dogs, and meanwhile I've got one rifle which can take care of any anti-infantry, because inevitably they swap into anti-infantry when they open dogs. So it's snipers he's gone for, so I've responded with a drone swarm because I've got enough money to do that. And now he's also, because obviously he opened War Factory, he can easily bring out a pitbull, so I'll bring out some more missiles. I think that he's probably spent more money than me at this point. Well, actually, no, he seems to have a lot of money. But anyway, yes, we've got missiles on the pad. He isn't able to get through these missiles. He sent in dogs, but again, they're not going to kill missiles in time, and the bottom missile can block out the pitbull that's coming in on the bottom left pad. So we've been able to take that missile. It was a bit close, but yeah, we were able to do it. And now we've got into a pitbull war. I'm going to try and avoid his healthy pitbull and try and get a 2v1. So the pitbulls in the bottom traded with each other. So at least now I can build a second one, and we can 2v1 his pitbull that came in on the top. If you get into a pitbull mirror, yeah, it's really important to try and stack your pitbulls up and 2v1 the pitbulls he's got coming in, so that you can try and deal damage to his without taking so much damage, and also lead with the healthy pitbull, because then if you've got one that's got low hit points, then hopefully it'll survive longer. Of course, what I've done now is I've just let my one with lower hit points drive into a missile squad, completely ruining the theory that I said there, but that was just me mismicroing. Still alive though. I'm still able to deal some damage with the that low hit point pitbull that he's got there. He has prematurely ion cannoned. I'm able to take out his orca. Not amazing value, but because he did it a little bit too soon, and then I was able to respond to what he did. I get a little bit antsy here, actually. I don't know why I built this orca. I didn't really need the orca, and I'm kind of playing it a little bit sketchily here. I was a little bit lucky to take that missile. You can see he's controlling 2 of the pads now. But yeah, fortunately, I was able to just about take that one. We had a 3rd missile we could have gone into. I'm sure it would have been fine. But yeah, either way, we were able to get through that one. Next up, Jay of the Punjabi Knights. Okay, so he's playing Oksana. When people are playing Oksana, it's really difficult to read what their deck will be. Like, it could be tech, it could be aggro, you don't really know. So it's really important against Oksana players to scout what they're doing. Okay, so he's opened lasers, so there's a sign that he probably will have flames next. So we'll build a 2nd rifle. He's waiting to transition. So now if he was going to build flames, he would have done it by now. So I'm expecting something else. I've scouted in and I've seen that he's built a war factory, so it's probably going to be chuggy. Usually whenever there's a big pause in someone's production like this, it means they're tech switching. And when you open barracks and they're playing Nod, they're going to be tech switching into one of 2 things, which will either be chuggy or a cat ship. And they're really difficult to deal with. Fortunately, we're able to hold the pads long enough. He's boosted this chuggy to kill rifles, which I think is a bit excessive, because the chuggy would have killed the rifles anyway. I think the boost was unnecessary, so he's basically just wasted 30 tib. But yeah, so when someone pauses like that, because they're switching into chuggy or cat ship, you need to be able to try and read that and like actually anticipate what they're going to do. So I was able to build the pitbull even before he built the chuggy, because that's what I was expecting. Even if he builds chuggy or cat ship, a pitbull's good at dealing with both of those. So if you see someone pausing like that, switch into a pitbull, because there's a good chance that it's going to be good against whatever they're building. Learning to anticipate what the opponent will do is one of the key skills in Rivals, in order to try and stay one step ahead of them during a battle. Anyway, yeah, he's got pretty decent presence on the map here. The missile's going to be firing in about 10 seconds, but it's all right. We've got an orca to come in to take out the bikes. We've got another pitbull. Get some rifles, because his lasers are causing a little bit of a problem. He's doing quite a good job of microing his chuggy through the missiles here, which means it's very difficult for us to push in, because our best unit to push in is rifles. But obviously that dies very quickly to the chuggy. So I've done an ion cannon right at the moment that the missile's about to fire, and it was able to flip that missile. We didn't have much on the field, but yeah, fortunately the drone swarm was holding the pad at the key moment, so that was able to flip it round. Yeah, it's another good example of, without wanting to blow my own trumpet here, firing the ion cannon just at the right moment in order that it gets them off the pad just as the missile's about to fire. It's quite tricky, because the ion cannon has like a 3-second delay between when you fire it and when it actually fires. But yeah, if you can get that timing right, it can be really useful. Okay, so Big D has open rifles, so we're going to get into a rifle war here. He's backed off and gone for a 2nd rifle. Okay, I wasn't sure what he was going to do there, and my 2nd rifle was a little bit delayed. So I'm going to back up so that I avoid getting him 2v1 me. It looks like he might want to stall here, so I'm going to get mine on the pads, and I'm going to get a 3rd rifle. So he has been able to 2v1 me, but what's really important for me is that I keep this missile charging. So I've got my 3rd rifle coming in, attacking his top one, and then when I'm able to move in, I do that, and because he keeps building rifles, I want to make sure that I keep this pad charging while dominating this rifle war. So I have tech switch first now, which I would normally not recommend, but it's just about to fire the missile. So as long as we can use this tech switch to control the missile at the point that it's about to fire, then that's the key thing. I think he probably could have got that Talon onto the bottom right pad there, but he didn't do it. So we're able to take the missile at about a minute. So it's not the quickest missile in the world, but it's not super slow, so we're okay here. Probably the quickest you can fire a missile is about 46 seconds, I would say. So ideally you want to be aiming for that as soon as possible. So a minute is a bit slow, but again, it's not too bad because we can have the next missile fire at about, say, 1 minute 50, and hopefully we won't have to face too many tech units at 1 minute 50. You can see this guy's got a lot of money building up now, so he should be able to get some tech out fairly soon, and we've still got the pad charging, but we've got a talent to deal with the rifles. See, he's got a sandstorm coming in now, so we'll block with the missiles and try and ion cannon that. Able to take that out. Again, the missile's getting fairly close to firing now, and he has wasted all his money on that sandstorm, so he hasn't got anything left. He's now got Grens coming in, but the Grens are a bit of a nightmare for the Pitbulls, but they're not going to be able to clean things up in time. And meanwhile, we've got missiles blocking the bottom pad and the Talon coming in. So yeah, the getting rid of that sandstorm with the iron cannon was pretty handy there. And he wasn't able to respond to it in time. This is the problem with tech units when you're playing against Solomon, is if somebody's playing aggro and they just wipe your first tech unit off the field, it doesn't have enough of an impact in order to actually turn the game around. Okay, so we've got Jay again. I think we played him a couple of games ago. And again, we know that he opened lasers and then went into Chuggy. So I'm going to build one rifle to deal with his laser. Probably going to go straight into Pitbull after this because I know that he's going to respond with a Chuggy. So I'm not building a second. Normally I would build a second rifle here, but because we know what he's going to do, I've decided not to. Using my prior knowledge, if you can possibly remember what people will do, it's pretty handy. It doesn't look like he's gone for the War Factory just yet, but we'll get the Pitbull out anyway. I've noticed that he's got Fanatics in his deck. I really don't understand why he didn't use Fanatics, because Fanatics is a very powerful unit. But also, I don't really understand why you would have Fanatics and Chuggy in your deck. Anyway, yeah, so he's mismicroed his Chuggy a little bit this time, so we're able to kill it with the Pitbull without it doing very much damage to our rifles. That's great, and we're able to fire the missile at about 53 seconds, which is really good. It's not super important firing the missile very quickly against someone who's not playing tech, but obviously we want to win the missile, so that's all good. Okay, so now we've got our rifle set up on the bottom. He can't move into us here because we've got the Pitbull on that top pad. He wants to send a Chuggy in to deal with the rifles, but he can't, because the Pitbull's there waiting. So as long as we get a couple of rifles set up with our Pitbulls there protecting, it's very difficult for his Chuggy to move in. He has got a nice little wall of missiles there, so it's going to be tricky for us. I've gone into the Drone Swarm. Drone Swarm's not great moving into lasers, but it's something that will kill the lasers without dying to his Chuggy. I did a little bit of a premature iron cannon there, but I just wanted to clean him off the pads because he had a wall set up. So I just wanted to disrupt that, and then he's not been able to get lasers set up in time in order for us to, so we can deal with the missile. So I've brought an Orca in. The Orca is good to counter the Scorpion. Scorpion's a really good one against Pitbulls, obviously, but Orcas will deal with that, and meanwhile Pitbulls can deal with the bikes, and the Orca hopefully should hold long enough in order for the to hold the pad against the bikes, which it does, and we get the second missile. So. Yeah, not bad. He was a fairly decent player, but yeah, obviously we're able to take that one quite comfortably, which is good. And finally, I think this is the last one. So Freaky of Please Be Very Gentle. I sometimes play these guys and they play hard, and they ask for us to be gentle, but they're not gentle to us. So cruel. And he's jump jet rushing. What a son of a gun. Okay, so in a jump jet rush, don't build a harvester. This is why scouting's so important. I'm happy building the harvester now because he's just buzzing around, and we've got 2 rifles to protect from that. Normally when someone jump jet rushes as well, I expect a zone trooper, a shockwave trooper to come in. But it looks like he's got a rifle on that top pad there. We've been able to fend off this jump jet without it doing any damage. We're getting off the pad, so it's still charging. I don't know. Usually when someone rushes, probably they've got tech, because they're not interested in getting on the pads and they want to get money from your harvester. So I always assume that someone's playing tech. Yeah, see, he didn't build anything for ages, and now he's got 2 harvesters. And the missile's going to fire at 58 seconds. So yeah, not great, not the worst. And he's just, got lasers, or missiles rather. So we'll get a couple of rifles. I don't know how he's going to respond to my pit bulls. It looks like he's not, so we'll just get rifles set up a concave to deal with his shocks. He's walked right into the concave there, so that was a misplay from him because they're going to die really easily. The shocks are going to die really easily against the missiles. He's sending his first Wolverine, the first tech unit, so we'll just ion cannon that, and then get a couple of pit bulls down the bottom pads. I think from this point on we can pretty much AFK. I'm just not going to do anything because he's so far away from being able to beat us. I'm not really that bothered about it. He's managed to kill one pit bull, and he can't get on the pad in time. Little bit close there. I probably should have actually tried to fight that. I was a little bit blasé, but even with AFK, and we could still beat him. So yeah, there you go. 10-0 with that deck. So yeah, as I said, it's a pretty decent deck. There's nothing totally unusual there. I think with the APC, it would make it much tougher to beat because APCs are so difficult to clear off pads. And we didn't use the Orca a lot. We used it a couple of times, but anywhere we really needed an Orca, we've got ion cannons to deal with heavy hitting units. But yeah, hopefully that should help Major, and he can get his GDI up into Tiberium League. He was super close last season, and that's pube away. Hopefully this can just give him that push to get over the edge.